Economic collapse isn't a conspiracy theory anymore. The 2023 banking crisis, the 2024 inflation surge, and continued supply chain vulnerabilities have proven one thing: our financial system is fragile. The Federal Reserve's own data shows that 63% of Americans could cover a $500 emergency with cash. And in a true collapse scenario, that digital wealth in your bank account becomes ones and zeros on a dead server. But here's what most people miss. When paper money dies, a new currency emerges. Not gold, not silver. Small, practical items that people desperately need. Items that cost you a few dollars today, but could trade for a week's worth of food tomorrow. Today, I am walking you through 9 small items that fit in your pocket, but could make you the wealthiest person on your block when the economy crashes. These aren't theories. These are field-tested barter items proven valuable in every economic collapse from Argentina to Venezuela to Zimbabwe. Let's get into it. Number 1. BIC lighters. Number 1. BIC lighters. Fire is the foundation of survival, cooking, warmth, water purification, signaling, light. Without fire, you're eating cold beans in the dark while hypothermia creeps in. A single BIC lighter produces over 3,000 ignitions. That's 3,000 fires from something that costs you $1 today. And here is what most people do and realize: BIC lighters last over 10 years in storage if kept upright. The fuel doesn't evaporate like cheaper brands. During the Venezuelan economic collapse, a single working lighter traded for the equivalent of 2 days' wages. People couldn't find them, stores were empty. Anyone with a stockpile of lighters became the person everyone needed. The math is simple: spend $50 today on a box of 50 lighters. Store them in a cool, dry place. In a collapse scenario, you're holding 50 individual trade units worth potentially $500 to $1,000 in real goods. I keep 100 lighters stored in a sealed container in my basement, not because I smoke. Because I understand that fire-starting capability becomes currency when the grid dies. $1 today, $50 in trade value tomorrow. That's 50x return on investment, and it fits in your pocket. Number 2. Super glue. Number 2. Super glue. This one surprises people until they understand the history. During the Vietnam War, combat medics discovered that cyanoacrylate, the active ingredient in super glue, could seal battlefield wounds in seconds. They sprayed it directly into injuries to stop bleeding before surgery. It saved countless lives. Today, medical-grade skin adhesive is essentially the same formula, just sterilized and approved for human use. But in a collapse scenario, regular super glue becomes your emergency wound closure system. A $1 tube of super glue can seal cuts, repair boots, fix cracked tool handles, reattach gear, mend torn fabric when combined with patches, and literally hold your equipment together when replacements don't exist. Think about post-collapse reality. No hardware stores, no Amazon deliveries, no repair services. Everything you own needs to last indefinitely, and super glue becomes the difference between functional gear and useless junk. I watched a documentary about survivors during the Bosnian War. One man traded a single tube of glue for 3 days of food because the beard needed to repair his only pair of winter boots. That's the value we're talking about. Stock up on the gel formula. It doesn't run like liquid super glue and works better on vertical surfaces and skin. A 10-pack costs about $15. Store them sealed, away from heat. Shelf life is 2 to 3 years unopened, but I've used tubes that were 5 years old with no issues. $15 in super glue today. Potentially $200 in trade value when repair supplies vanish, and it weighs almost nothing. Number 3. Dental floss. Number 3. Dental floss. This is the sleeper item that hardcore preppers hoard quietly. Because dental floss isn't just for teeth, it's the strongest cordage you can fit in your pocket. Standard dental floss has a tensile strength of 50 to 70 pounds. That's strong enough to be fishing line, snare wire, emergency sutures, shelter tie-downs, bootlace replacement, bowstrings, tripwire alarms, or general-purpose cordage for any task requiring thin, strong line. A single $3 spool contains 200 yards of material. 200 yards of multi-purpose survival cordage for $3. Try buying 200 yards of paracord for that price. You can't. I've personally used dental floss to catch bluegill when I forgot my tackle box. Tied a hook to floss, used a stick as a rod, and pulled in dinner. It works because fish don't care what brand your line is. In Argentina's 2001 economic collapse, cordage became scarce within weeks. People couldn't tie things, secure loads, repair clothing, or build makeshift shelters. Something as simple as strong string became valuable because it enabled everything else. Dental floss stores indefinitely. It doesn't rot, doesn't degrade, doesn't attract pests. A $20 investment buys you roughly 1,400 yards of the most versatile cordage available, enough to last years and trade extensively. The person who can provide cordage when rope factories are closed becomes essential to their community. $3 per spool, potentially $50 to $100 in trade value. And it literally fits in your pocket. Number 4, P38 can opener. Number 4, the P38 military can opener. If you've never seen one, the P38 is a tiny folding can opener designed for the US military during World War II. It's about the size of a quarter when folded, weighs less than half an ounce, and opens any can made. Here's why this matters. In a collapse scenario, canned food becomes the primary food source. Dry goods need cooking, water, fuel, time. But canned food is ready to eat immediately. One problem: modern can openers are electric or they're bulky manual models that break. The P38 is indestructible, solid steel, no moving parts to fail. Soldiers have carried the same P38 for 30 years with zero maintenance. It also functions as a screwdriver, box cutter, seam ripper, wire stripper, and scraper. I keep one on my keychain. It's been there for 8 years, still works perfectly. Still opens cans in under 30 seconds. During Hurricane Maria in Puerto Rico, people had canned food but no way to open it. I read accounts of families using rocks and knives to bash open cans, losing food in the process, cutting themselves on jagged metal. A simple can opener would have solved everything. Cost today $1 to $2 each. I buy them in 10 packs for about $12. Give them as gifts, include them in emergency kits. In a prolonged crisis, a working can opener that fits on a keychain trades for far more than its original cost because it enables access to preserved food. $12 for 10 can openers. Each one potentially worth $20 to $50 in trade when the guy with 47 cans of beans caught and open any of them, and they never expire. Number 5, safety pins. Number 5, safety pins. This is grandmother's survival secret that modern preppers rediscovered. A box of 100 assorted safety pins costs $3 and provides more functionality per dollar than almost any other prep item. Personal uses are endless: clothing repair when buttons fail or zippers break, holding bandages in place, creating slings for arm injuries, attaching gear to packs, replacing broken zipper pulls, fastening tarps and shelters, temporary hem repairs. Diaper pins if you have infants, but here's the survival application most people miss. Large safety pins make effective improvised fish hooks. Bend the pin open, and you've got a hook shape that catches panfish, small bass, and catfish. Combine with dental floss as line, and you've got a working fishing setup from pocket items. Safety pins also work as splint attachments, wound closure for surface cuts, not deep wounds, and gear attachment points when clips break. During the Great Depression, safety pins were traded like currency because clothing couldn't be replaced. People wore the same garments for years, repairing constantly. Pins enabled that repair. I keep 500 safety pins stored in a small waterproof container. Total investment, about $15. They never expire, never degrade, never become obsolete. And when clothing manufacturing stops, everyone needs them. $3 per 100 pins. Potential trade value of $30 to $100 per box when new clothes don't exist. 10 to 30x return, fitting in a space smaller than a deck of cards. Number 7. Cotton balls and Vaseline. Number 7. Cotton balls and petroleum jelly, commonly known as Vaseline. This combination creates the most effective fire-starting tinder available. More reliable than commercial fire starters, cheaper than anything you can buy. And incredibly simple. Take a cotton ball, rub petroleum jelly thoroughly into it. That's it. You've created a fire starter that ignites from a single spark and burns for 3 to 5 minutes, long enough to light wet kindling, damp wood, or marginal fuel sources. The US military has used this method for decades. Survival instructors teach it universally. It works because petroleum jelly is essentially solidified fuel, and cotton provides the fibrous structure to catch and hold flame. A bag of 100 cotton balls costs $2. A jar of Vaseline costs $3. That's $5 for potentially 100 individual fire starters. Compare that to commercial fire starters costing 50 cents to $1 each. But the trade value goes beyond fire starting. Vaseline has medical applications, protecting wounds, preventing chapping, treating minor burns, creating moisture barriers. Cotton balls are wound care, padding, and general absorbent material. I prepare about 50 of these tinder balls, store them in an old pill bottle, and keep them in multiple locations. Waterproof, lightweight, and guaranteed fire starting regardless of conditions. In wet weather when natural tinder is soaked, these work when nothing else will. During the 2021 Texas freeze, when people were burning furniture to stay warm, anyone with reliable fire starting capability became instantly valuable. $5 in cotton balls and Vaseline, potentially $50 to $100 in trade value when people can't start fires. Number 8. Single-edge razor blades. Number 8. Single-edge razor blades. A pack of 100 single-edge razor blades costs $3 to $5. Each blade provides 10 to 20 uses before dulling. That's potentially 1,000 to 2,000 cuts from a $5 investment. Applications are extensive: general cutting, rope, cordage, fabric, packaging, food preparation, shaving. Hygiene matters for morale and infection prevention. Surgical preparation, cleaning wound edges before treatment. Scraping, fire preparation, hide processing, removing residue. Precision work, fine cuts that knives can't manage. Sharpening, razor blades can sharpen other tools and restore edges. In a collapse, cutting tools become irreplaceable. Knives dull, scissors break, new tools don't exist. But razor blades are small, easily stored in the hundreds, and provide precision cutting capability that larger tools can't match. I keep 500 razor blades stored in their original cardboard sleeves inside a waterproof container. Total cost about $20. Each blade is individually tradable. I can give someone 10 blades for a small trade, 50 for a larger one, without depleting my entire supply. During extended disasters, shaving becomes more than vanity. Facial hair harbors bacteria. Clean-shaven faces seal better with improvised respiratory protection. Medical procedures require shaved skin for tape adhesion and infection control. $5 per 100 blades. Trade value of $50 to $100 when cutting tools disappear from shelves. And 500 blades fit in a container smaller than a paper bag book. Number 9. Fishing hooks and line kit. Number 9. A compact fishing kit. This is potentially the highest value item on this list because it enables something nothing else can: renewable protein acquisition. Every other item is consumable. This one produces food indefinitely. A basic kit fits in an Altoids tin and contains 20 to 50 assorted hooks, 100 feet of fishing line, a few split-shot sinkers, and maybe some small lures or artificial bait. Total cost, $5 to $10. Total capability, feeding yourself and your family as long as fish exist in nearby water. Here's the math that matters. One successful fishing trip can yield 2 to 5 pounds of protein. Repeat daily. That's potentially 60 to 150 pounds of high-quality protein per month from a $10 investment and moderate effort. Hooks are reusable dozens of times. Line lasts years with care, sinkers last indefinitely. The only consumable is bait, which you can source naturally, worms, insects, bread, small pieces of meat. During the Soviet collapse in the 1990s, fishing became essential survival activity. Rivers and lakes that were recreational became food sources. People without fishing capability depended entirely on failing government systems. People with hooks and line ate. I keep 3 separate fishing kits in different locations. One in my vehicle, one in my home emergency supplies, one in my go bag. Each kit costs under $10 and weighs less than 3 ounces. The trade value is harder to calculate because you're not trading the kit, you're trading what it produces. But if you had to trade a complete fishing kit, you're looking at potentially $100 to $500 in value because you're reselling someone the ability to feed themselves indefinitely. $10 today, unlimited food production tomorrow. That's the best return on investment in this entire list. Let's pause here because I want you to understand something important. We just covered 9 small items with a combined cost of approximately $60 to $80. That's less than a decent restaurant meal for 2 people. And that modest investment creates a barter portfolio worth potentially $800 to $1,500 in a collapse scenario. But here's what matters more than the numbers. These items are useful right now. You don't need an economic collapse to benefit from lighters, super glue, dental floss, can openers, safety pins, sewing kits, fire starters, razor blades, and fishing supplies. They have everyday applications that justify the cost regardless of what happens to the economy. The 2020 Federal Reserve study I mentioned earlier found that 37% of Americans could handle a $400 emergency expense without borrowing money. Those same people are one supply chain disruption away from having nothing to trade when stores close. You're different, you're thinking ahead. You're building capability while it's cheap and easy, and that preparation compounds over time. I learned this lesson during a job loss in 2019. For 3 months, I watched every dollar while bills piled up. The supplies I'd stockpiled during good times became essential. I didn't need to buy lighters, first aid supplies, or basic tools because I already had them. That preparation during prosperity created security during hardship. Same principle applies here. These 9 items purchased today create options tomorrow, whether tomorrow brings economic collapse or just a rough patch where every dollar matters. Call to action now. I need something from you. If this video added value, hit that like button. It tells YouTube this content matters. The more people who see it before a crisis, the more prepared our communities become. Drop a comment below. Which item surprised you most? Are you already stocking any of these? What would you add to this list? Your input helps me create better content for future videos. And if you're serious about building real preparedness on a realistic budget, subscribe and hit the bell. Next week, I'm covering 7 forgotten skills your grandparents knew that could save your life when modern systems fail. Skills that cost nothing to learn but everything to lack when you need them. One more thing, I've seen the comments asking about comprehensive barter guides. I'm working on something that goes deeper than what YouTube allows. Detailed ratios, negotiation tactics, items to avoid, and community building strategies. If that interests you, let me know in the comments. Remember, preparedness isn't paranoia, it's responsibility. The people who thrive in crisis aren't lucky. They're prepared. I'll see you in the next one.